My most used cake decorating technique is Bas Relief. I use fondant, I use wafer paper, and I put it all together. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create continuous Bas Relief design and add some little decorations using wafer paper. No extra tools needed. I'm going to use just one silicone mold for Bas Relief and a craft punch to make my flowers, and that's it. I will start with my wafer paper and color it with a pearl petal dust. I'm applying a thin layer of pearl petal dust on the shiny side of wafer paper to make it pearlescent. Same as we did for our sequences, and I will link that tutorial. Now that we have our shiny wafer paper, let's cut a few flowers. And for that, I'm going to use two craft punches. One craft punch is for the larger flower and one for the smaller. For my smaller flowers, I will keep them like this. And for my larger flowers, I wanted to shape them to make them less flat. And I'm going to show you the easiest way to do that using my acetonic wafer paper conditioner. And I will take my wafer paper conditioner on my brush and apply small amount here in the center. So my flower will start to melt. You can see it's getting a little bit misshapen. And all I'm going to do is to pinch it, bringing all 5 petals together. And I will place it in a shaper, something like this, and leave it to dry. And now, while my flowers are dry, I'm going to use my mold. That's the one I use on all my designs, but I will show you how to use it so your design will look different every single time. For that, I will take my fondant. I'm using Saracino Pasta Tub. It's my favorite fondant. And the first thing we need to do is to soften our fondant and make sure it's very flexible and pliable. And take a small piece of fondant. You can see that the size of my fondant piece is way smaller than my mold. So I prepared a few small pieces of fondant. I'm going to dust my fondant and my mold with cornstarch, and I'm filling out my molds partially. Now I'm going to spread it as thin as possible, stretching it all over my mold. And I'm going to turn it upside down and release my designs out of my mold. So you can see all the details, but these decorations are really thin. I used the same fondant and I made these leaves with talus powder. You can use gum paste. So I have my fresh Bas Relief, I have my dried leaves, I have my wafer paper sequin that we made in previous tutorial, small wafer paper flowers, and I have my large wafer paper flowers. Let's put everything together. And I'm going to start with this piece. I will apply a small amount of water on the back side and place it somewhere where I want it to go. And use the thick end of my Dresden tool to smooth and melt my Bas Relief into my fondant. In this way, your design will look like it's growing out of your cake and not just placed separately. If your piece of fondant looking as a little bit too big, you can use a pair of scissors and just cut a design you're after. Placing it onto my cake like this and scraping it with a Dresden tool to make it blend into my cake. So you can see I'm leaving a lot of empty spaces where you can see my blue fondant through my Bas Relief. When I'm happy with the placement, I'll take piping gel as always and add all my other decorations. For something like a gum paste leaf, I can just dip it into my piping gel and place it into my fondant while it's still soft and pliable. Then I will take my larger flowers, dip them into piping gel as well, and place which way I want my design to develop. Maybe another one right here. And now my small flower is the same. I'm just dipping into some piping gel and I'm placing them a little bit further away to make my design more dimensional and interesting. And the last step, taking our little sequins and placing them all around our design. Now you know all my secrets, how I use fondant and wafer paper to create most of my designs on my cakes. And if you wanted to learn more how to make wafer paper cakes, fondant designs, and build your cake decorating business, sign up for my weekly newsletter where I share all the fun things about having a wedding cake business.